And as we waltz in midair, the wind takes our hands and it guides us there. And as we waltz in midair, the wind takes our hands and guides us there. This is our leap into the abyss. Surrender our fears, set our hearts free. Let go our beliefs. Love is all that we'll give, and embrace the unknown. 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 I'm Gayathri. I'm a singer-songwriter. And as you know, the song you just heard is called The Unknown. And as someone who's pursuing a life in the arts, pursuing a life in music, I'm very familiar with the concept of all things unknown. You see, as an unsigned independent artist, I don't have many resources at my disposal. And by resources, I mean I don't have a trust fund or a sugar daddy or amazingly cool collectibles to sell on eBay to make a quick buck. So often I kind of hit a wall. You know, I think to myself, how am I going to pursue this big dream, pursue this life without having the resources that I need at any given point, especially in an industry where it's also sort of unpredictable. There aren't set rules or structures or things that you can do that will assure success every time you do them. So most of the time I feel like I have absolutely no clue what I'm doing or whether what I'm doing is effective or it's going anywhere. But over the years I've sort of, you know, created a sort of strategy, if you will. And I'll tell you about the strategy, but I'm going to give you a little backstory. As I stand before all of you today, young, promising minds of tomorrow, I feel like a complete hack because I'm very, very ashamed to say that my college days were a period of epic uselessness. I studied English literature and I attended only one class for 3 whole years, which was my poetry class, because it spoke to me in some inexplicable way or it was just inspiring to me. Teachers had no idea who I was or that I even existed. The only time that I would surface was when the examination results would come out and I would, you know, to my surprise and to pretty much everybody's shock, would rank top of my class. And that really angered a lot of the economics students because they were like, this is heinously unfair that a literature student who does nothing but read books all day can like score higher than us. And as much as I got like a massive kick out of it, it was also really true. All I did in college was play guitar and write songs and read poetry. I did one more thing very unsuccessfully, which was fall in love a few times. And that went horribly wrong, as do most college romances. You heard it here first. But that only led to more guitar playing, more writing of the songs, and more reading of the poetry. Little did I know that this would be the pattern that would shape the rest of my life. Cut to 4 years later, 2009. I was at a point where I'd quit my full-time job as a chief editor. It was a good, well-paying job, might I add, as a chief editor at a publishing house in Dubai, to pursue my dream of pursuing music for a living. At this point, I felt ready. You know, it was a lifelong ambition and dream of mine. At this point, I had written over 50 songs. I had been on my time off from work, I'd been on 2 self-managed and 2 self-funded tours to Europe. I had released an EP of, extended play. It's like a little release of 5 songs. And that received lovely reception. And I was building myself a listenership. And small, but very significant to me. And then I got my heart broken, as usual. And I'm not talking about like silly little heartbreaks. I'm talking about like Heathcliff and Wuthering Heights, or like Devdas, or someone you guys can actually relate with, Adele. Adele level of like heartbreak. So that obviously rendered me completely non-functional for a year. But music again was, the silver lining, the lemonade, the anchor that pulled me out of that. And I decided that it was time to really make my mark. I was ready, felt strengthened, my soul was healed and whatnot. So I decided I was going to do something big. And I conceptualized a show at that point called Movement. Now, Movement, in essence, was my music. It was a showcase of my music, accompanied by a philharmonic orchestra, and it would be performed to a stunning visual backdrop. It sounds really ambitious, and it probably was, but creatively, because of the amazing people I'd met and the team that I knew I could put together, it was completely doable to me. So I went into it like full-on passion, like, I'm going to do this. I put together my core team, and we actually put out an open call to artists and musicians as well to join the movement. And what was really cool is that over a course of a few months, the artists and musicians were gravitating towards this idea literally like moths to a flame. We grew to a team of over 100 musicians and artists coming together for the first time in the region. All we needed was a little bit of funding. So on paper, this is a great pitch, right? It's hundreds of creative minds. It's happening the first time in the region. It's contemporary and classical. Everybody involved had great experience in the field and knew what they were doing, and it already had a great buzz around it. It was a no-brainer, or so we thought. My business partner and I, and she was also the head of sponsorships, Farida, we went to about what now seems like thousands of meetings with suits, basically, about getting sponsorship. And when we were giving the presentations, and in the presentation room, there was just like crazy amount of joy and excitement, and everybody wanted to get involved. Just like crazy levels of psychitude towards like, we want to join the movement. But then, the emails that would follow would often say pretty much the same thing, which is, we've spent our whole year's marketing budget. We're still waiting for the green light from our head of marketing, which will never come. And in one very frustrating case, they would say, we don't have money, but we can give you resources. And by resources, they meant, we'll give you a fleet of cars, or we'll give you light bulbs that you can give away. And I was just like, what? What does light bulbs or cars have to do with any of this? But that's still something I'm trying to figure out. Either way, by this point, I'd worked on Movement for over a year. And everybody around me was also so excited to move this forward. And one day, we had a breakthrough. We were inches away from signing a funding contract. The sets were being created, the costumes were being designed. We even zeroed in on a venue, and the poster for the opening night was good to go. And then I get a call. Basically, the voice on the other side was telling me that our main sponsor was pulling out. This was a day before we signed, and everything was, good to go. And reasons completely not clear to me till today. But that was it was over. And it was probably really heartbreaking, the most heartbreaking and shattering thing that I'd ever heard till that point. Because, by this point, not only had I spent a year and a half on this amazing, energy and this project, but there were hundreds of others, literally hundreds of others, who were right there with me and who also believed in me as a leader to take them forward, take this idea forward to the end goal. So that rest of that day, I spent, sobbing in bouts and feeling really guilty and then feeling strong to relay the news. But when I told people about it, they weren't angry or upset or irritated. What they said was pretty much unanimous, which was, All we wanted to do was do the show with you. We believe in you. We believe in your vision. This might not be the right time for it, but the time will come, and we believe that will happen. And that is something that became such a big part of my strategy today and how I function today, is that I realized that people don't support you because of what you do. People support you because of why you do what you do and how you do what you do and how much you need to do what you do. So that was a gigantic lesson for me. And looking back at the whole movement episode today, I don't look at it as a failure at all, because I had a giant takeaway from it. And I take those lessons with me every day. After that whole episode, I was like, I need to like bounce back somehow. So I started investing my time in releasing a new single, strengthening myself as an artist. I put out a music video as well, which received raves. And this whole, the music that I was putting out received a lot of new listenership, and it was fantastic. I felt like I was finally on my way again. And then I decided it was time for my first full-length album. In the music industry, a debut album is a big deal. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of resources, it takes a lot of people coming together and doing this. Of course, I was a little gun-shy after the whole movement episode, but I said, I'm going to figure this out. And in that week that I was figuring it out, I was actually at another TEDx talk. And I saw the founder of Indiegogo speak about the phenomenon of crowdfunding. And I knew about crowdfunding before, but it just never had appealed to me the way it did that day. It suddenly made complete sense to me. Basically, it worked on the simple principle that you ask everyone you know and everyone they know to take a few moments of their time to listen or to hear a pitch about a project or an idea. And if they felt connected to it in some way, they could contribute to the cause in return for some very interesting, exciting perks and incentives. And I was just like, that is so cool. Like, that is the simplest thing. I don't have to deal with suits and marketing people. I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to ask the people who've been supporting me all this time. So I went about it. I did some research, obviously, and I spoke to a lot of people who had success with crowdfunding, and I put together my plan. With the help of some close friends, I put together a campaign video, and this is what it looks like. That's just a screenshot. So it was Gayathri makes her debut album, and it was a pitch about all the things that I've been doing so far, and basically to join this whole journey with me to create this album. I'd also recruited all my friends and family as campaign ambassadors who opened their networks to me graciously and who really campaigned along with me to make this happen. On the first day, by the end of the first day, we made $6,000. By the first 2 days, we made $9,265, and over a period of 10 days, we made $21,040, because the goal was $20,000 in 30 days, and we hit that in the first 10 days because what was really cool about it is that, yes, the money was great. It was, for once in my life, I had some money. I wasn't broke, and I wasn't saying, how am I going to make this happen? But what was the real thing that moved me was what everybody was saying, which was very close to what people said after movement didn't happen, which was, we believe in you, we believe in your vision, we believe in your dream, we're happy to be part of this journey. So here's the strategy, the thing that holds all of this together for me, the thing that keeps me going. And I'm going to put it in a language that I know best. There are two kinds of songs in the world. There are good songs and songs that become your favorite. There are songs by some really cool artists, and there are songs that tell your story better than you ever could. We all as people are looking to relate, to belong, to connect, and we attach ourselves to people and places and songs and causes that make us feel this connection. And what I've learned is that passion and hard work are far more powerful than just talent and just skill, because they help you make that connection. This is a very important lesson for me. It's become a big part of my strategy. And today, the album's released online globally. Things are going really well. I feel like things are actually going in a progressive direction, and I feel good about it. But I am still finding my way. I'm still an unsigned independent artist with limited resources at my disposal. But I do have a strategy. And if there's anything that I can tell you or share with you today, it will be this. Would it be okay if I read this out because I want to get it right? Is that okay?
Sure.
Cool. All right. This is my last part, so I'm almost done. So here's my strategy. It is to enjoy the small victories, the glorious breakthroughs, the almost successes, and even the epic failures. And I'll say to you that it might be scary as hell, but the only strategy against not knowing what you're doing or walking a path completely unknown to you is to embrace every little thing that comes with it. And in the little failures, the heartbreaks, and the things that weren't, and in those times are the times that you're growing in abundance without even knowing it. It is your dedication and drive that will get you where you want to get in life, that will draw people to you, that will inspire you, that will inspire them, that will swallow you whole at times, but push you towards action every single time. And this is a tried and tested theory, so trust me on it. So all I'll leave you with is take the leap and embrace the unknown. Thank you.